Hi, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter from Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation, Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. We're joined now by my buddy and colleague, Andy Hodges from All Hogs. As you can tell, he is all in on Arkansas. In fact, if it happens in Razorback country, I'm convinced the governor will call him and ask him to tell him what's going on in the state of Arkansas. He's so connected. He covered the NFL for decades, the Dallas Cowboys. So he brings a really unique skill set. He's very familiar with the Hogs, but very well respected in the National Football League for his writing and for his coverage of the NFL. He's able to talk about both. And today I'm asking him to join us to talk about a UDFA for the Las Vegas Raiders, Dalton Wagner, an offensive tackle. Let's bring him in. This is the great Andy Hodges. Andy, how are you, friend?
Be careful saying that, great Andy Hodges. There are probably people in Arkansas that would be asking for your address and things and send people. But
First of
no,
all,
it's great. The temperatures are starting to turn around and we're not freezing. We haven't had snow in May yet. Hopefully we won't. We do from time to time. And hopefully we're going to have whatever spring we have and launch into summer.
well, good. I hope you're able to, before you start getting into fall ball, you're able to go out and do a little bit of Razorback hunting for me.
Won't be hunting. I have a house on the lake, and so one of the things we'll be doing, we'll be going up there a little bit and checking that out and seeing what's going on up there and trying not to let the grandkids drown. Yeah,
Dalton,
it's just a typical summer.
awesome. So I want to talk to you about Dalton. I got a lot of questions about him. First of all, the Raiders went out in NFL money. They didn't pay big money, but in UDFA money, they paid big money to get him. He's a big guy, super guy. He's all offensive tackle. I don't think he could play guard. He's all offensive tackle.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I just don't see it on the film. But this is a guy, if you just look at the things that God gives, the frame, the size, he fits in, checks every box. The concerns on him are injuries. And, not that he's a wimp, but he's just had a bunch of injuries and a mean streak. You know him, you've covered him. Everyone loves the kid. They love his character. Can you break him down for Las Vegas Raider fans, please?
He's a great guy. He's a great guy. He's very personable. Y'all will love interviewing him. He's a great interview. Be interesting to see if he lightens up a little bit once he gets away from the Kremlin way of operation on interviews at Arkansas. They get very concerned about what they're going to say. He should lighten up a little bit with the NFL. He's got a great personality. Great guy. You don't have to worry about off-field problems. None of that ever surfaced in Arkansas. And, we have a lot of opportunities to get in trouble. But he's had the injury problems, which for some reason I was hoping when Sam Pittman was hired, Sam being a guy with a lot of experience and track record producing great offensive linemen, I was hoping that he would be able to work on some of the techniques with Dalton to get him better, to get him to be a draft pick in the NFL, to be a high draft pick. He's certainly got the physical tools. The problems are he's great as a lineman with his hands. He's great with them, has a huge wingspan. Obviously, he's 6'8". But the problem is the feet don't coordinate well. I drink too many Dr. Peppers. At my age, probably shouldn't be doing that, but I do it. His feet don't coordinate with the hands. He needs to get his technique down, his footwork on run blocking, particularly sweep blocking and things like that. to move over and cover a gap, and they're going to try to do you know these influence blocks where the offensive line will go give the appearance the play's going to the right, and all of a sudden you've got somebody coming over and shooting just behind the interior defensive line, try to take out a linebacker. Dalton's not fast enough to do that, or agile enough to do that. He also struggles with run blocking, getting to the second level to the linebackers. And again, we get back to the footwork and that technique problem. He can't get to the linebackers fast enough to do anything once he gets there. And that's his biggest drawbacks. And personally, I think it's something a coach could spend a lot of time. Somebody could spend time that is very good at teaching that sort of technique and get that technique taught, because you've certainly got the physical tools. He's got the upper body strength. He's got the hand movement already. I mean, I've seen him hit guys in practice, just standard offensive line maneuver, and lift them off their feet and knock them back for 2 yards. And we're talking big guys here. We're not talking guys my size. We're talking big guys that he just lifted up. But what they do, they take 2 steps and get around him. He has some problem with edge rushers simply because of his feet if they have a quick get off, because he's not quick getting off. A lot of technical issues, certainly a project that's going to take a year or so to develop, to step on the field. But I think once somebody does that, and I think he's going to benefit from being able to do football 8 hours a day. I don't know if they have the limits that they have in college. Because I didn't think so. But in college, they've got them for 2.5 hours, and then all they've got is a strength coach. Well, hell, the strength coach doesn't have a clue what to do for offensive line technique. So he gets around somebody that can coach that. He's very good in the film room at breaking down film, looking at it, analyzing the defense, seeing what needs to be done. He's a great guy to go to say what's the defense doing, and he can give it to you verbatim pretty quickly on Monday. And that's kind of what y'all got coming up there. A lot of upside, nothing really a downside unless he just can't get the footwork learned.
So here is what I'm projecting. There's a lot of people out here that think he's going to make the 53. I don't, but here's what I think. I think he's a great get as a UDFA. But when I'm talking to other people around the league as well, why do you think he wasn't drafted? It's those issues that that hand-foot coordination. But I think this is a guy the Raiders put on the practice squad for 1 year because they've got some great offensive line coaching. And this is a guy I look in 24, maybe even late in 23 to be called up with an injury or whatever. But a guy I look to really make his impact in 24. Do you think I'm being fair to the kid?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's going to take long to teach it.
Because it's not the work ethic.
No, it's not the work ethic. It's not the fact, some of these kids, you try to teach them things, and you might as well be teaching a brick out here, because it's going to take them about that long to learn it. They just, for whatever reason, some people learn faster than others. Some people can look at something and immediately grasp it and have the concept and go on. Some people struggle with it. Same reason in school, taking a test. Some people can read the book, come in, take the test, get out with an A. You've got others that spend 2 days staying up late at night studying for the test and hoping to all that they hope to, that they make a C. And
I want to read you a text I got from NFL executive, if you don't mind.
Sure.
When I asked him about Dalton, and because you know Dalton personally, you know him as a player, covered him every day, and I want to see if this meshes with you. Okay. He said, we really liked him. We targeted him as a UDFA, but the Raiders nailed him, paid him big jack. I think this kid's going to end up playing in the league for a long time. His football IQ is off the chart. His work ethic's off the chart. If he could stay healthy, he'll learn the position. With him, I think the question is more about health than anything else. Your thoughts?
Health is a big issue with him, particularly his back issue. He's got a back issue, and it is a real. I know people that are in the medical business with the doctors that handle the Razorbacks, and they've told me, yes, it's a real injury. He's not fake, because you got a lot of these kids nowadays. They get a hangnail and they want to take 2 months off. I mean, really, you know. I mean, I remember playing and I've got blood coming everywhere, and they're like, where are you cut? And I'm like, I have no idea. And things like that. So he's not one of those guys. He had a serious back injury, and I'm gonna shoot the dog right here on live Zoom. But he's a good guy. He has the work ethic. He can ignore pain to a certain extent. And most of his problems have been with that back. That has been a nagging problem that you can't get rid of, and about the only thing you can do to get rid of it. Now, he's going to get with an NFL team. And despite what a lot of people think, they got better doctors and stuff, and people that are better at knowing that stuff. What colleges have. I don't care what colleges say. NFL teams got better than you got. Now, they get mad at me, some friends of mine that are doctors and stuff, and I'm like, no, the NFL's got guys that are better than you guys because they deal with this all day long. I said, your lab will be looking at the Razorback running back and then go deal with an 82-year-old guy that's got gout.
Right.
You know,
so
football players all the time.
So here's the deal. To me, I know there's a lot of excitement for him because of his size. There's a lot of excitement because of his ties to WWE. I'll ask you about that in a minute. But my thing is, I think there should be, if this kid stays healthy, there's no issues that he's going to learn the position, grow in the position, and everything else. It comes down to health. And you're right. I do believe the Raiders have exceptional doctors. I think the NFL has the best. And I think this ends up being a good addition. I think still a year away, or certainly late in the season, from getting some productivity in a regular season game. But I want to ask you, because everybody's talking about it, his WWE connection. What do you know about it?
I don't really know how deep it is. I know there was some sort of NIL deal, but I think that was more for social media promotion and those things. Now, you look at the guy, he was a freshman, and I looked at him, and I'm walking behind him, and I went, damn, dude. And he turned around and looked at me, and I said, if you ain't got a second career as a WWE, I've wasted my time doing this for nearly 50 years. He said, really? I said, yeah. I said, you know, you look the part, just looking at you, the size and everything else. He's also got the personality. He's well-spoken in interviews. We interviewed him a lot because, I mean, I'll be honest, we've got some guys with the Razorbacks that I'm not real sure they could spell ESPN. So, bless their hearts. I don't know what kind of high school they had, but I mean, they're struggling from the academic side. Dalton's not one of those guys. He's very good looking. But here's the thing that's a little different. He's responsible. There's never been any allegations of him going out. And trust me, as 50 years ago, one of the leading partiers on Dixon Street. I mean, I can remember many a nights when myself and Steve Little, who was an All-American kicker here, went to the Cardinals and kicked for years. And Dan Hampton, who was with the Bears for
Remember,
years.
don't tell too many secrets.
Oh, this is not a secret. Everybody in town knows it. There would be police records, but back in the 70s, they didn't quite put it on the front page of papers like they did. Trust me, my name was well known down on Dixon Street with all those guys. So yeah.
Awesome.
He ignored all of that. There was never any allegation of that, to my knowledge. Now, maybe it was just fortunate. Maybe it was luck. He and I
You
were
got to
never.
tell you, though, what you're telling me fits into what every NFL executive told me. Just a super kid, and it's going to be amazing to watch. Andy, listen, I appreciate you. I hope we talked about a little bit on the phone yesterday to do some more stuff together.
Hey,
I appreciate you.
One of my favorite teams to cover was the Raiders when I was in Dallas in the early 80s. And
Wow.
you had one of the, and I'll tell you my quick Cowboys Raiders story, because Tex Schramm, who was the general manager, president, and the only difference between him and an owner, he didn't have the check to write. So, and Al Davis, they hated each other, literally despised each other. So we're up in the press box one night, and they were the only two owners back then that I ever saw sit in the press box for the entire game. They sat in the press box. Tex sat at one end of the stadium or at the press box. Al Davis was at the other. This was old Texas Stadium, didn't have that big of a press box.
Right.
And we're down on the front row. They're back on the second row, and I hear Tex's voice that was kind of unmistakable. He goes, there's this, kind of slow time, and he goes, hollers down, ow. Al just kind of turns and looks at him. Tex gives him the middle finger salute, and they just go back to watching the game.
Wow. Well, Andy, I'm looking forward to doing more with you, buddy. Thank you for this scouting report on Dalton. It sounds like we're all on the same page.
Sure,
I
you
appreciate
guys
it
will love him. Las Vegas will love him. Raider Nation will love him.
Awesome. You're the best. God bless you, Andy. Thanks, everybody, for listening to the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast, part of the Fans First Sports Network. Remember, right above me, you can see the tab Join. Click it. We'd love to have you join our channel, subscribe. We'll be back with plenty more, I promise. Thanks, Andy.
All right. Thank you.